Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. We are talking about the fourth episode of Loki today, and what an episode it was.
Definitely.
Before we get into the episode, though, I just want to say to all the Canadians out there, if you're watching, Happy Canada Day. I know pretty much across the country it's pretty much been canceled because of all the stuff going on with the Indigenous children's bodies they found and whatever, and well, you know, we've done a couple of vlogs and stuff on it, so you can watch that. But I'm not going to get into it today. But Happy Canada Day to you if you're watching. So, and to all of our American friends or watchers, the July 4th there is coming up for you guys in a couple of days. So happy July 4th to you. That said, Loki episode 4. If you guys have not watched it, or not watched all of it because there is a post-credit scene, then go back and watch it because we are going to be talking about the post-credit scene. So, and there is one. So it's there.
Be ready for that too.
Be ready for it. If you haven't seen it, then just pause this, go watch the post-credit scene. If you've seen the rest of it but didn't think there was one, there is. So there's your warning. Okay. Anyway, what did you think overall?
Overall, I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was trying to figure it out.
It was kind of confusing there for a little while, trying to follow what was happening, from going, But it was sort of interesting in the way that he was stuck to that island and on repeat.
Oh yeah, with Lady Sith.
It kind of brought me back to my old marriage in a way, but
Frag.
It was weird, but it was it was a good episode.
Yeah, I really liked it. We found out quite a bit of stuff, things that were hinted at before that actually have come out to the fact that all the people working for the TVA are deviants themselves.
Yeah.
Or deviations themselves, I should say, not deviants.
Well, they could be deviants.
Yeah, that's right. They could be. And we also found out that when they purge somebody, they don't actually die.
That's right.
So, that's kind of interesting. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the post-credit scene. But we also learned that the three timekeepers were robots.
Yeah.
And
that was
which is really interesting because now there's a theory out there that, and I don't know if you remember, but in Ant-Man and the Wasp, when he goes to the quantum realm, when Hank Pym goes to the quantum realm and meets up with his wife Janet, there's a city in the background of the quantum realm that you can see. And there's a theory out there that city is the TVA in Marvel.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but...
Okay. Interesting concept.
Yeah, so, because you remember how in the first episode, he said time works differently here?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, time works differently in the quantum realm. It doesn't operate the same way we know regular time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I thought time was a man-made thing.
I think that's a really interesting way to kind of connect it if it's true. And see, the other reason I think that is because in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium, which is the third Ant-Man movie coming out, the villain is going to be Kang the Conqueror, and Kang is from the 30th century or 31st century or something, and he is supposed to be like a distant relative of, I believe it's Reed Richards, who's the leader of the Fantastic Four. So I think they're going to connect, because I think what they're going to have happen is they're going to have, normally, and I know I'm getting off topic from Loki, but this is just kind of trying to explain where I think they were going with Loki. The Fantastic Four normally get their powers in traditional comics from being on a ship that goes up into space. They get blasted by cosmic rays and they get their powers. And that's kind of how they've done it in pretty much every iteration in the movies and stuff like that and throughout time.
Okay.
Now, they're saying that one of the things there's a theory that people are talking about what might happen is in the Marvel universe, it may have been that the Fantastic Four didn't go to space. They got into some sort of dimensional ship or something like that and ended up in the quantum realm. So which is where they ended up with their powers, like Hank's wife Janet did.
Right.
And so when they come back out of the quantum realm, because time operates differently there,
right, yeah.
they're not going to be any older than they were when they went there. And it, so that'll explain why they're still so young and this and that and whatever. Now, if they connect those that way, then what's going to happen is that would be a good way for to kind of explain how Kang and Ant-Man and Fantastic Four and all these things kind of connect. If they're doing that, starting that with Loki and showing that it is tied to the quantum realm already, and so it's I think
so what you're
doing,
saying is it gives it a way to tie it all together.
Yeah, exactly, because they're going to also they're also going to explain because of course with WandaVision and Doctor Strange and Loki and the next Spider-Man, of course, they're doing all this multiverse stuff, right? So these multiple timelines and things like that, which they've already started to show in Loki. So I think what you're going to see is that's how they're going to try to connect these two things is through all the different realities and the quantum realm and everything. That's how they're going to try to tie it all together in the Marvel universe. So
doesn't sound like it's going to be an easy task.
It's a lot there, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they do it. So if that's the case, then that could be why things are the way they are with the quantum realm. Because when you look at...
So that's where he ended up.
Who, Loki? No. I'm just talking about how where the TVA supposedly is and why it might tie into all these other things.
Right. So
hopefully that kind of will help explain it. I think that's probably where they're going to go with it.
Do you have an idea where he ended up, where Loki ended up? Do you have a thought on that?
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
sorry.
The as it goes through the episode, of course, Loki and Sylvie, the female Loki, are trapped on that moon, and they're
in the beginning,
basically waiting for the end to come. And then the TVA shows up and takes them and brings them back to the TVA, and of course, then they, and that's when Loki tells Agent Mobius that they're all deviations and whatever and stuff like that. Anyway, eventually it comes to the point that that's when they figure it out. It does end up with a showdown between Loki, Sylvie.
Who's the black girl?
She's the one who leads all the other TVA agents, basically.
All right.
So her and anyway, in front of the timekeepers, and that's when we find out the timekeepers are robots and all this stuff. And of course, Loki's just about to, I guess he's about to profess his love for himself.
Yeah,
to the female
more or less.
Loki.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was about to kiss her.
That's what I thought.
And then he gets purged. And I remember when it happened, I'm sitting there and I'm going, You just killed Loki. The show's called Loki. There's 2 episodes left, and now there's no Loki.
Yeah. How are you going to do that? Yeah.
And then, of course, the post-credit scene comes in, and in the post-credit scene, we see him wake up, and he's like, "Wait, I'm not dead."
Yeah.
And then he hears, "No, but you will be if you don't come with us." And he looks up, and there's 3 other Lokis standing there, which is really funny. And one's in the classic comic book costume like they did with Wanda and Vision in their show. So I thought that was really a kind of a cool twist to throw that in there.
So where is this then?
I don't know. I'm guessing that when they purge them, they send them, like I said to you off air, I'm not sure if every deviation goes there. So that if it's this one specific area where every deviation of somebody goes, or if it's just every single version of you just goes to their own one. I'm not sure, but they obviously go somewhere.
Right.
And it's obviously some sort of...
Because Mobius would end up being there if he was.
It's obviously some sort of dimension that, for whatever reason, can't be seen by the TVA as part of the sacred timeline. So that's probably why they think when they're purging people that
it's outside of the... regular time.
That's what I'm thinking, which might make it in somewhere else in the quantum realm, to be honest. I really don't know.
I'm sorry,
how
this
they're
makes
gonna
my
do
brain itch.
Yeah. I know, eh? I really don't know how they're gonna do it or explain it or how he's gonna get back from there. And obviously, Sylvie was very upset at what happened. And at the end, she has the TVA agent basically at her whim to
Yeah,
kind of
we don't know what happened yet, but
answer her questions. Fine, of course, like I said, all
you're going to
the-
tell me everything, kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the TVA agents, or not the TVA agents, but the TVA, the Time Guardians, I think now this is just my own personal theory, and I'm going to throw it out there, but I think they were created by Kang to ensure that he comes about.
Okay.
Because they talk a lot about the sacred timeline and how if there's a deviation from it, then it can screw up the sacred timeline, which is why they go and they always reset to the sacred timeline.
That's
Always
right.
reset everything, right?
Exactly.
So I'm thinking that in the future, Kang wanted to make sure that he always because in the future where he's from, he's ruler of Earth. He's ruler of everything. And I think that's why it's got this sacred timeline, is because he's trying to always ensure that he comes about as into power. And I think that's why that would be my guess. That's just a guess.
That's an interesting concept.
It's different from how they did it in the comics, but I think that's what they're probably going to do with the actual movies and shows. I think that's how they're going to do it, because I think Kang is going to be the next big bad guy that they're going to like Thanos was. I think Kang's going to be the next big bad guy that everybody comes together and fights.
Yeah.
I think because he's quite a big, like in the comics, he's a really big threat to the Fantastic Four and the Avengers and all of them.
Huh.
Just like Galactus or Thanos. Like they have these big enemies that are just like they need a whole lot of heroes to come together to defeat, and I think Kang's going to be one of them, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Interesting.
So my guess is that's Kang trying to make sure that he always comes about no matter what happens. He's always, that's why the sacred timeline is called the sacred timeline, because he's making sure that he always comes
into
to power. I think that's that's why when they say, when Loki questions early on about the Avengers going through time and stuff, and they're like, oh no, that was meant to happen. But technically it wasn't meant to happen if you look at how else they explain deviations, right? Anytime you go back and change the timeline, you're creating another branch. And the Ancient One says that to Hulk, to Bruce Banner, when he goes to get the Time Stone in Endgame. She explains how if you take one of the Infinity Stones out, it causes a branch,
That's
right?
Exactly.
And she explains all that. So
it doesn't fit with the...
and we know that because of their first screw-up trying to get the Tesseract, which is where this variant Loki came from, because it landed at his feet. He picked it up and gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, because of that screw-up, that took an Infinity Stone out of that timeline, which created a branch. And that's why the TVA went after Loki, because it created a branch.
Okay.
And that's what I mean, is I think that when they do that, like... I know Captain America supposedly went back and took all the stones and left them exactly where they had been taken from or whatever. But at the same time, he didn't come back to the future.
No, he didn't. He stayed.
He stayed,
That's
which should have caused a branch.
So that would have been a deviation of
that's what I mean. Like, I think that everything is... So I think that by their own rules, the TVA is trying to explain that, because it's under their directive that these robots that were obviously the timekeepers said, no, that was supposed to happen.
Right.
Don't pay any attention to that. That was supposed to happen. We're going to branch everything into that because that's what's supposed to happen. So that Kang comes about. That's my guess. I don't know how...
Interesting, though.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see how that works, but yeah.
I mean, well, that's what Phase 4 is going to do, is build towards all of this next culmination of stuff, right? So...
Well, it does make sense when you put it that way, that would be the...
Yeah. Because, see, my understanding is that Phase 4 is going to end with the Fantastic Four as the last movie in Phase 4, I believe. So that means everything else is going to come out in between that. So we're going to get, of course, all those Marvel TV shows.
Right.
We're going to get Thor: Love and Thunder. We're going to get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We're going to get Spider-Man: No Way Home. We're going to get Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumanium. Like we're going to get all these other movies, right? So
Everything
all
will
of that,
fit into that.
I think it's all going to connect to that, and then at the end, it's going to culminate probably with Fantastic Four, and then maybe they'll do another Avengers after that. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I think that's how it's going to go, and I think Loki's really building towards that, and I think it's really interesting that this is how they're probably trying to tie it together. And I'm just blown away with Loki. That last episode was just amazing.
Yeah,
it really was.
It was very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And it seemed to just go,
Oh, way too fast.
Yeah.
Just like the last one, it was like, oh my God, it's over already?
Yeah,
God.
you just get into it and it's over.
Yeah, I know.
That's part of the problem with it being done this way. But because I'm used to a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie where you're getting a good chunk, And in here, it's just, you just, here we go. And it's over.
At least thank God they're longer than WandaVision was.
Well, yeah, but still.
Because unfortunately, as much as I love WandaVision, it was way too short. It really was way too short. Each episode, just too short. So, now I think that's how they're going to tie everything together. So, speaking of WandaVision, actually, the very, very last episode of WandaVision with the post-credit scene where it goes across all the country and the lake and then the cabin and it shows her, they changed the post-credit scene on that. You have to really look to see it, but they did some color alterations to it. And there's a spot where if you look really closely, you can see somebody in like an astral cloak figure going down the mountain floating down the mountain towards the cabin.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the speculation that I've heard on that is that it's Doctor Strange in his astral form going after Wanda. So I don't know how true that'll be, but
again, soon find out.
Interesting to see. We'll find out when Doctor Strange comes out because that's all done
that's the
filming.
next one coming, right?
No, Spider-Man is.
Spider-Man, okay.
Spider-Man, then Doctor Strange, and then Thor.
Okay.
I believe. Like Thor's finished filming, I believe, or close to being finished. Doctor Strange is done. Spider-Man is done. All these things are done. So, Anyway, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I was blown away by Loki. I really think it. And the whole like him falling in love with himself. I like how Mobius commented on that too. Yeah. Boy, talk about really loving yourself.
Real narcissist. Yeah, exactly.
But you got to wonder, like, is it really you? Like, especially if, like, imagine, like, you were Loki and you come across another supposed version of yourself, but it's female. Is that really you? You know what I mean? Like, if it's
it's you, but not you.
Like
it's the same but different.
Yeah.
Different but the same. Yep.
I mean, talk about screwing yourself.
Really, big time, and enjoying it.
Boy, they really just screwed themselves over.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, they must have enjoyed it. They're having a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, is that, does that count as loving yourself, or like, how does that work? Like,
does that count as self-love?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it is another form of love. Love has many forms of love. It is all how you look at it, as they say. Huh?
Crikey! Yeah. I can't believe it. Look, he found this thing, and next thing you know, he's sneaking up behind to help it.
Yeah. And it's only him. Yeah.
No, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they fit it all together and where it goes. But I'm definitely going to say, I'm going to bet you this is how they bring Loki back to the regular Marvel Universe again, So I've said that from the beginning.
Well, there you go.
So it'll be interesting to see. Anyway, I would love to know what you guys think of it.
Yeah.
Make sure you let us know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our superlativeradio.com. We have a shop there where you can get some great Let's Talk with the Saw merch. Get some. It's awesome stuff.
Get a mug, get a whatever. Yep.
Get a shirt. If you're a girl, get a bikini, get a dress.
Whatever.
Just get some stuff.
You can get Country Gold Mine stuff there too.
But Let's Talk is better. Yeah. No, check it out. Anything you want to add about the show?
No, nothing I need to add about the show. No.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It'll be interesting to see. I guess my theory of Loki having a time stone wasn't true. I don't know how he was able to push that building back up, because that's not normally a power of his, but
Maybe in that time.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Anyway,
But there it is.
that said, we will
See you
catch you
next
guys
week.
for another episode next week. Again, have a happy Canada Day, and to you Americans, hope you have a great July the 4th. Catch you guys for another episode right here, Superlative Radio.
Stay healthy.